Good evening, televiewers, and thank you very much for joining us on this week's edition of Viewpoint on DBS Television. The weekend has been very, very busy, but we are happy to have you again, as well as being there healthy and strong to have another week of discussion concerning issues in Cameroon, out of Cameroon, and the world at large. And in today's edition, Monday, we are going to be talking about regionalization and national integration, as well as hate speech in Cameroon. And to discuss about this, we are having a civil society activist and a social entrepreneur with us, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam. It's not the first time that we are having him, and it is always our pleasure receiving him. Dr. Nick, good evening and thank you. Very much for coming.
Thank you again. It's a pleasure to be back with you here. Good evening to our listeners.
Wish you a happy week start.
Well, thank you.
The weekend has been very busy.
Yes, it was very busy, but I took time off to rest.
Very important. Mange Venashus, happy week start and welcome.
Vanessa, same to you, and good evening to our viewers. Good evening to Dr. Nick. Vanessa, please permit me greet our elder brothers and sisters. I don't always like to use the word elite. Our elder brothers and sisters who are in their respective, regions, localities, to convince. When I use the word convince, to
the electorate.
Yes, municipal councillors into voting those they have been asked to vote.
Not those they feel deemed from what you say. Anyway,
yes, Vanessa.
Your message has gone out. Cross all your great things. Let us take the first part of the show. That is the questions. Once more, you are all welcome. If you are just tuning in, you're watching Viewpoint, being brought to you from Monday to Friday, 6:30 p.m. and equally being aired on Facebook. Regionalization and national integration, compatible concept in Cameroon. Dr. Nick, are they compatible?
Yes and no.
Which one is the greatest?
Sorry?
Which one is the greatest? Yes, to a greater extent or no?
Well, it depends on what you mean by the greatest. Really, there are polemics in there.
Yes, you stand on the fence.
We need to understand what you mean by integration.
Okay.
Is it assimilation?
Mange Venashus?
No, completely.
No.
They are not compatible.
No, completely. And is there any way to discourage growing hate speech in Cameroon? Mange Venashus?
Yes, Vanessa.
Yes, Doctor?
Yes, by starting with the government.
Yes, beginning with the government. Let us have the debate. Regionalization and national integration. When we talk of regionalization, we mean that is the different political entities, and when it comes to national integration, we are just in a way trying to say that despite our differences, be it political differences, be it ethnic differences, we all still recognize the fact that we are one. And so in trying to find out, are these two concepts compatible in Cameroon as a case study? Dr. Nick, you think that you're on the fence? Yes, it is, or no, it is not?
You see, Cameroon as a nation, we have about 250 tribes, right?
Yeah.
And what binds people is not force. What binds people is not force. What binds people is love, and it's truth. It's not an army. It's not some people who are not put together as an act of war. So, when we are talking about a nation, it looks big, but let's bring it down to the family. What keeps the family together is not because the man is very strong, or because the woman is very mouthy, or something like that, or because they have many children or very few children, because they have money or no money. The question is, what is it that keeps a family together? Let's forget about a nation. If you can on your fingertips enumerate those things that keeps a family together, that's exactly what a nation needs. It's just as simple as that.
So what does a family needs now to keep them together?
You're married. I'm sure Venatius too is married.
Of course.
If Venatius is not married, maybe he has a girlfriend.
No, I'm married. Legally, happily married.
Okay, but so let's forget about the nation. Let's go back to those concepts. What is it that keeps a family together? And probably as we discuss this subject, going from the family, we are also hoping that we'll help families, you know, to build stronger bonds, because when the family is happy, the nation is happy, the society is happy. When the family is chaotic, that chaos is carried to the nation, and then children coming out of chaotic homes, there are a lot of problems for the nation. So, you know, I don't know how to put this, but the bottom line is truth. That truth in marriage, love in marriage, respect for one another in marriage, and then sacrifice. That sacrifice is that word sacrifice should be replaced with giving. Give of yourself to each other. That's it. Feel free, and be proactive. You know, go the extra mile to make things work, and then don't be looking for small problems here and there and so on. Even if there are big problems, discuss them, talk about them. You know, really open up and don't hide things from each other. Talk about them, and you should not try to think that you are smarter than another person. That's always the thing. When you always think that you can take advantage of another person, or you are smarter than the other person, and you make the other person look like a fool, you're only digging your own grave. So they're just little concepts, and there's those values, those things. They work on a one-on-one basis. They work in the family. They work in the community. They work in a village. They work in a country. They work in a company. They work everywhere. So it's because at national level we think that we can play tricks with each other and get away with it, and that's why we're in a lot of problems. And when it's not working, you bring gendarmes and police and kick people around, or you lock them up in prison. That's not the way.
That's not the way. Just to say that regionalization and national integration are compatible concepts as well as they are not. But in your analysis, I get more of the fact that they are compatible with, in relation to, you use the family.
Yes.
Now, so how are they not interlinked?
You see, they are compatible. There's no, you know, if a cat and a dog can live together in a house, everything is possible. It's just the way that you set out to build that community or that family. If you build it on the wrong foundation, if you build it on an ungodly foundation, it will not work. If you build it on the principles of God, or on the kingdom principles, it will work. It's just as simple. I don't know how else I can say it.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Nick. Manga Venatius, categorically you think that these concepts are not compatible?
Of course, Vanessa. To me, I look at it to be, you know, direct opposed, that they are on direct, you know, opposite dimension. One is going to, you know, towards direction A, the other one is going towards direction B, all in the same country. I like the analogy Doctor has taken about the family, and that, you know, sends me back to a sermon I listened to yesterday from where I worship, where the priest, Reverend Father Dorato, insisted on the fact that Cameroon is what it is because our families are what they are. And he was insisting that he carried out, you know, he tasked his Christians to do what is called Operation Heal Cameroon. And he says the healing begins from the family. Just like what Doctor was saying, that, you know, we take from the family, we move from the family towards a larger, you know, paradigm, which is the country. But then when I look at the question of regionalization and national integration, to me, I feel that they are not compatible, because when we talk of regionalization, when we talk of national integration, and look at it from this concept, when we talk of national integration, it means I am from the northwest region, I'm from Jakiri, and if I am here in Douala, I should feel that I'm at home. I should fully be integrated in the community where I am, in as much as I am a Cameroonian, in as much as I live anywhere in Cameroon, I should feel belonging. I should feel part of where I am. Because if I keep thinking of, I am from Jakiri, if I keep thinking of constructing a road here in Douala, has nothing to do with me, if I keep thinking of constructing drainage pattern, making sure that the environment is safe in Douala here, has nothing to do with me. Let me also only think about the village. What pushes me is I would like have these tribalistic tendencies. I will keep on cultivating these tribalistic tendencies because everything is back to my village. Whereas if we talk of regionalization and we look at the constitution of these regional councils, it instead of promoting that nationhood, that integration, that family, if I have to draw from a doctor's analogy, we are instead dividing that family. It still pushes us to think that, no, I am not from this family, I am from this area. I am not from this family, I am from this other locality. Rather than thinking of, I am not from Littoral, if I keep thinking of, I am from Douala, I am from Kumbu, I am from Jakiri, it does not promote that. I don't feel integrated. I don't feel part of Douala. Whereas, if we talk about regional, constitution, those who were supposed to be voted, I think it should have been like the post of mayors and councillors. Not because I am not from Littoral, I cannot form or I cannot become part of the regional delegate. Or I should not be a regional delegate of Littoral. Because what we have now is you get people going back to their villages, postulate to be regional delegates in their various regions of origin, then come and live in other regions. To me, you will not tell me that a regional delegate who lives in Douala would talk about developing the Northwest region. He does not have the daily realities of the Northwest region. He does not know what it means not to have electricity. He does not know what it means not to have drinking water. Whereas in town, he would have all these facilities. Look at most of the names that we have in the list of those who are contesting in our various regional councils. They are well-to-do people who are even settled in Douala and Yaoundé. Their houses are there in Douala and Yaoundé. They simply have, they are having houses in their villages because maybe they can go to a village during occasion and have where to live. It is not because they are settled in the village. They are settled out of those villages. Yet we are telling them that they should go back and develop their own locality, their own region. I see some kind of duplicity. And when they come to Douala here, what do? Anything that is happening in Douala, they will not be part of it because it doesn't concern them. So when you tell them that we need to build a road here, that is not my concern. I have to go back to Bamenda and look at how to build a road, maybe in my division, maybe in my subdivision, where I come from. And in that case, national unity is not fostered. I would rather think that in a country that we are begging for national unity like Cameroon, because presently we are begging for national unity. If we were to talk about regional, delegates, it should be like the post of mayors, post of councillors. That if I am here in Littoral and I'm settled here in Littoral, in Vuri division, I can postulate to be a divisional delegate in Vuri division because that is where I am. That would then push me to think that, no, we want to talk about constructing a road that leads to Bois de Senge. No, it is my interest because that is where I live. But if I still only think that, no, I would think of Jakiri. Let me go to Bamenda and foster the development of Jakiri through the regional delegates or the regional delegates in Yaoundé, in Bamenda. I am not, I don't feel part of Douala. So I think that if we succeed in establishing such type of, belonging, that identity, that we can identify where we are, Vanessa, part of most of those who are going back to their various regions to campaign for votes, 3/4 of their lives they live out of their villages. 3/4 of their lives they would live out of there because they have tested what it means to live in town. They have tested what it means to have air conditioner, to good roads. How many of them will go back to their villages? I think of some villages in the northwest and southwest regions when you have to go there, it takes you a week. And worst of all, if it is rainy season, your village is a no-go zone. They understand what I'm talking about. I mean, this elite, they understand it. But then they are sitting in Yaoundé, they are sitting in Douala, and then when it comes to regional elections, they would now go to their villages with Pajeros, and because they want to go and campaign. And once they elect, they come back to Yaoundé. So they don't feel belonging where they are, Vanessa.
All right, thank you very much, Manga Vanashu. So, Dr. Nick, what do you think about the point he just raised, where these regional delegates, they live in town, but then when it comes to this election, they run back to their constituency to beg for votes, and at the end, they don't live where they are supposed to live and carry out their duties, and they rather run back?
Well, I see it differently. I think Venatius is looking at what he used to obtain, you know, but we are moving into a new era and things are going to change. And also, you know, I think it's a blessing that you can make use of your people who had moved out to these developed places and are living a comfortable life, and they have gone through the stages of adulthood. They are no longer excited about anything, and then they have a car of their own, they have money of their own, and they're now going back to their roots. And everybody, it's very clear in everybody's minds that they have to, you know, participate in the development. And the beauty of it this time is that if you go and you are not doing it, you'll be thrown out. That's the beauty. The local person now has the vote against you, and he can stand against you. It's just that with the problems in the Northwest and Southwest, that vote is not as strong as it ought to be. So, you know, there are going to be some people there, but my understanding is that when real peace finally comes back, what is happening in the Northwest and Southwest will be revised so that the real people can be in place.
Right. Thank you.
That said, it's very, very important that we help people to understand, you know, the kind of human beings we have out there. When you understand that, then it will be very easy to catch on what Venatius is saying, because humanity is not just one group. Okay, I was listening to a video on social media. I think it was some gentleman who was talking to a class that was graduating somewhere in America, and he defined that the human being could be put in one of three groups. I'm sure you must have seen it. The first group, which is the most primitive, he called them the barbarians. They're full of greed. Okay, and then the second group is the tribal group. The people are in tribes. What we are doing now, is this tribal thing. Okay, and so people want to protect their own, and so on and so forth. The tribal mentality is good and bad. When you push it to the extreme, is bad. But when you look at it and you are rational, it's good, because you can also look after your own. But as looking after your own doesn't mean that you should forget the national picture. Though, so the most civilized human being is the citizen. The citizen has a broader view, and so on. So I think to overcome Venatius' fears, we are saying that the people who should occupy those posts, it doesn't matter whether centrally or in the village or what, should be people who have minds of citizens. It's a mind of responsibility. Does it make sense, Venatius?
Actually, Doctor, it would have made sense if our elder brothers and sisters understood in that context, because when you look at those who make up the list of these regional delegates in our respective regions, you see that most of them are retired civil servants. Most of them are retired government workers, either a DO, this or this. For all this while, if they had that mentality of a citizen, you would have failed some development, you know, their impact in their villages. They are still there, they have been there, and nothing is happening. Because you will not understand, you will not tell me that I have brothers and sisters who are in government, and the road that leads to my village is impassable. Who were in government, who had served in government for more than 20 years. But routes that lead to their villages are still the way they are today. Regional council is not a kind of a magic stick that they will just wave around and things will change like a Cinderella story. No, it is something that they would need to, and like you said, if you don't do it this time, they will be flushed out.
Yeah.
Before then, they had the yam and the knife. Some of them had been there for years, and they did not do it. This one has a time limit.
I know we are probably not following the rules of the game now, but actually to say that they had the yam and the knife is wrong. There's been something wrong with I've been studying and asking myself the question why, and reading a lot of books. You know, yes, you see all these civil servants that are retired, they are not entrepreneurs. Are you getting what I'm saying? And if they have been employees, and just like any employee, they have never met their needs with the end of month check. Okay, so they have never developed a mindset for solving problems. So that's a limitation. What you are probably saying is that if we are going to be electing people in those posts out there, we should look for people who have demonstrated
Correct.
Something of their own. Put in people who have demonstrated that they can do it. Don't just put somebody because he was an ancien SDO, ancien whatever, ancien minister, all those things. Ancien ministers and ancien DOs and all those things that depend on appointments in themselves are not a sign of success or capacity. Look for people who have demonstrated that they can solve the problems and put them there so that they continue to do what they did there for you. People who have created the business, people who have built their own houses. You know, if you take someone who lived all the time in a rented house, doesn't have a house in the village, and just wears a coat and then makes a lot of noise, and you put him there, he will continue to make more noise.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nick and Mange. And I should let us take our second question. Is there any way to discourage growing hate speech in Cameroon? Dr. Nick, I continue with you. Just earlier you talk of tribal mentality, where when it's being used to the extreme, it becomes detrimental to the people. And presently in Cameroon, we discover that there is a lot of hate speech ongoing all over. So we are trying to know, how can we discourage this?
Yeah, hate speech. You know, on another TV program somewhere else, we looked at the subject of ethnicity. So where is the hate speech coming from? When people come from different ethnic groups, different tribes, different families, you know, you keep, for some odd reason, you try to keep the others away because it's like they want to take something away from you. All right. So the hatred and the hate speech comes in because people are greedy and want to keep something to themselves, and sometimes when, especially our politics, our political parties and our politics are run mostly on tribal lines, you know, ethnic lines and so on. And this what Professor P.L. Lumumba was stressing on one of his on his videos. So when you look at the African politics, when you take a party doesn't have a national spread based, and you have different sorts of people in there. Parties tend to group around persons, and if you look very carefully, 80% of the spirit in that party is tribal. So usually when it comes to elections, it's like one tribe trying to box out the other one from the mangeoire, the eating table. So you have all these problems, and then people begin to punch each other and call each other names, not because they are monkeys, but because they don't want you to come to the banana table. That's all. And then you would find therefore that the hate speech is generated by, the people who generate it and nurse it are the people in government, and they generate it, they nurse it, and then their valets or the people around them, and then their villagers, they take it up and say, we are the best tribe, you over there, you are monkeys, you are the mouton, you are the sardina, you are the tontina, you are the anglo, you see, all of that. That's where it's coming from. So it's just because of people who are in power, who don't see, who don't go beyond their small minds. Like I said, you know, they have a barbarian mind, small mind, greedy barbarian mind, or a tribal mind. But when you have, when it doesn't matter from which tribe you come, if you are thinking like a citizen, you are above that. If you are of God's kingdom, you are above that. You are above butter and bread, okay? And you think humanity. It is only when you can grow your mind to that level where you think humanity, where you think peace, where you think brotherhood, that you will solve it. And peace and brotherhood, you know, once you have reached that level, you are a kind of person who gives. You are a kind of person who raises others up. It doesn't matter their color and their creed. You are a kind of person who sees God in man, in plant and animal. You are a kind of person who sees God in the environment. Until you have that mindset, you are petty. So even when you hear people insulting each other, how do we discourage that mentality? It's just proper education. If you grow up as beasts, you will not get it right. It doesn't matter. Even when you become a minister, you grow up as a beast. You remain a beast. So like Venantius call them our elder brothers and sisters. Well, now, most of the problems in Cameroon are created by what we call elites. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. D. Manga Venantius. So how do we discourage this hate speech?
Yes, Vanessa, when I listened to a doctor speaking, what was coming to my mind is there is this notion that some people believe that they are superior to others. Why are they superior to others? It is because they believe that we have a kind of natural, natural inclination or natural disposition, natural endowment to particular functions, particular posts. As such, because we, Vanessa, at one point I always ask myself, why is it that we have some tribes that tend to be ministers, tend to be directors, tend to be DOs, tend to be those in the military? Is it that these are the only people who can in Cameroon? These are those aspects that once you give them, you tend to feel that others cannot. And once they cannot, hate speech comes in. Once you are a human being, you can. There is no human being who has a kind of super infused knowledge. Perhaps that ended with Adam and Eve. Because those are the people who had the super infused knowledge. Apart from that, every other person can. When you consider yourself that you are superior to each other, to a particular tribe, because you had the possibility to manage the affairs of the nation, what doctor will call them citizens. That when you consider yourself superior, when you consider yourself a superior citizen to others, you tend to look at others as inferior, minority, those who cannot. If we can reduce this question in Cameroon here of avoiding this majority, having to do with the management of public affairs, I think that hate speech will be reduced in Cameroon. In as much as I'm a minister and you are a minister, Vanessa, you cannot insult me, I cannot insult you. But in as much as I am a minister, my brother is a minister, my sister is a director, my this is a this, my this is a this, I say anything. It is very normal in Cameroon here. Do you know who I am? It is very good. These are normal languages and normal terms in Cameroon. Do you know where I am from? Do you know who is speaking? Are you not a human being? Are you not from another village like I am from Chakiri? So these are things that if we can reduce so that everybody should know, Cameroon belongs to you and I. No matter from which corner you are in Cameroon, hate speech will be cancelled. In as much as I know that the right I have is the same right that you have. The right that you have are the same right that I have. I think we'll be able to reduce hate speech in Cameroon, Vanessa. Thank
you very much, Mange Venashus, for your contributions. Dr. Nick, I think what could you advise the growing population of Cameroon to do concerning hate speech, because I believe that they will be the ones to bring a change in the nearest future?
That's right. Just before I answer your question, Venashus was saying something, and in his expose he gave the impression that because you have had a big post and you've been managing state affairs, you are a citizen. No, that's not the definition of a citizen. The definition of a citizen is a mental state, it's an attitude. You could be a truck pusher, but have the mindset of a citizen. Are you getting me? And yet you could also be a minister who is very greedy and a barbarian. Does it make sense? Yes. So it's not by virtue of the fact that you are a minister and you have a gendarme behind you and you have people running away that you are a citizen. No, no, no. Citizen means you are cultured in what is important, in common good and all those kind of things. So what I would say is that our young people, let us culture ourselves and be citizens. The more citizens we have, the better a nation will have.
The more citizens we have, the better a nation we will have. Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming.
Thank you.
Mange Venashus, hope to have you tomorrow.
Tomorrow I will be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's edition. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow. God willing, do stay tuned to DBS Television for programs continue.